And welcome everyone to another episode of Stagged Odds after 6 months. I don't even know, 5-6 months. Oh my god, it's been forever. I'm sorry, Demolent. I put you on a spotlight for this long for not releasing any new episodes. But hey, we have a guest and a future co-host as well, so I don't have to do this all alone by myself. She's going to provide all the intelligence and charm and game knowledge. I don't know about the game knowledge. We'll see, but we have Ninjapenguin. How's it going?
Wow, called out right away. Not even 5 seconds in, and you're already calling me out.
That happens.
Well, hi.
Hi, yeah. How's it going? Who are you?
It's going. I am me. Who are you? Yeah. What?
Wow, this is going well. Introduce yourself.
I'm Ninjapenguin888. I love video games, and I don't even know what else to say about that.
Okay, well, that was a good start.
I'm not like your other people because I'm not a speedrunner. I'm not heavy into showing off my games and stuff like that. So
yeah,
I'm just an avid gamer.
The avid gamer, yeah. But you're also pretty much the same age. We don't talk about age here and that specifically. But, you know,
Wow.
around the same age group that you have grown up with the same game systems that I have and whatnot. So even though this episode will probably not be related to speedrun per se, but we're going to talk about lots of horror related stuff. And even though you are not as specialized for gaming as you just said, but you are, and I think you always will be, very much into horror and Halloween. Isn't that right?
Yes, very much so. That's my go-to for everything, really.
For Halloween specifically, or is that
no, all year round?
All year
like
round.
I would play it all year round. You get my attention by saying that there's a horror game or a creepy game, scary game, spooky game, any of that.
Well,
that's gonna grab it.
Explain to me, for a person that doesn't understand the thrills of horror myself, like what do you get out of it?
There's a lot of aspects to horror games that regular gaming doesn't really touch on. And I mean, obviously the edge of your seat. Same thing if you're going to see a movie. You want something that's going to draw your attention the whole time. Whereas something more like shooters, or even for like you with your speed runs, my phone is on silent, I'm sorry. For your speed runs, you like the repetitive, repeat it, get it right, get through it. Me, I like the unsure, the questionable, edge of your seat, not sure what's going to happen next. The problem being that they're very hard to replay because then you know all the secrets and stuff. But I like being confused the whole time. That's really gets me into the gaming aspect, is being able to sit there and try to puzzle solve the mystery, and just because I like creepy and I like gory and being scared. I don't know exactly why that is a big thing for me, but it's more enjoyable than other type of games. I mean, I do the mundane games too. I mean, I do Hotel Renovator and, House Flipper and what was that other Palia that I was playing for a while. I can do the mundane, repetitive games as well.
Yeah.
But the horror games really just get my blood pumping.
Well, it's not about games in general when it comes to horror as well. Recently, you came here to see me in Finland as well, and we had I keep remembering this theme park when we spent quite a few hours there, and even though I joined you in one of the roller coasters myself, but the ones you did right after, I was like, no, I would
not
even think about going. So
That one that I told you was the scariest ride I'd ever ridden.
so explain about it. Just describe, especially the one where I think you're thinking about the same thing. Like there was this one ride where you went like backwards, first upside down, and
Yeah.
like
Like it was slow. It like took you straight up and then you went backwards, upside down, and then almost straight down. Oh yeah, that was a thrill in itself. I like that feeling of that adrenaline rush. I love that feeling. I don't even know how to explain it. It's just exciting. Like
yeah,
I don't get scared of it. Like I might be scared, I might be nervous, or like even in games, I might scream, but it's not that same like it doesn't have a lasting effect or it doesn't affect me in the way. It's more like, oh, that was fun.
yeah.
That rush in your belly or your heart pumping really hard or something like that is a good feeling for me.
Okay, makes sense. Like bit of an adrenaline junkie there, I guess, when it comes to horror and exciting stuff like that. Which where my brain just keeps telling me, no, just don't go there. You value your life more than that. It's just something might happen. Don't want to do it.
Well, it's easier with roller coasters because my theory has always been like if I were to die on a roller coaster, then what a way to go, you know? Like I wouldn't be sad about it. I wouldn't be around to care about it.
Yeah, she would just have a thumb up, laying down, like at least I went
I
down.
did it.
Yeah. See, the one where we went, which is one of the oldest, it's probably the oldest, actually, a roller coaster in that specific theme park where we went. Completely made out of wood, by the way, so it's kind of sketchy by itself. Like, it starts off pretty easily, and then the first drop comes in, and I don't really mind about that, but then after the first drop, there's another, like a more steep drop where you really feel it in your stomach, and I don't like that feeling. It was not. It was.
I love that
It was no
feeling.
longer like me being afraid. It was more of well, not in that sense at least.
Uncomfortable.
Yeah, it was just really uncomfortable. So I
Yeah.
can't even imagine what you felt when you were upside down there, moving backwards.
That was a rush. That one was that oof, that I'm not gonna lie, that one got me. That it takes a lot for me to get that scared on a roller coaster, and that one got me really good.
Yeah, that was quite something indeed. We were just watching you in awe and go like, "Wow, she's crazy." No one
And
else
then I
wants to
wanted to
join
do
you.
it again.
Yeah, you did. But is that kind of a thrill you're seeking from like horror in general? Then
Yes, but add on to it a lot of horror games, and I think it's because I was, I raised around these puzzle games that were very because back in the 90s, most horror games were puzzle based.
yeah,
And I like trying to figure things out. And I love puzzle games. Am I the greatest at them? No. But I enjoy doing them, enjoy trying to figure them out. And I think it's like a combination. So just having that two things that I absolutely love mixed into one is what really keeps me in the horror genre.
right. Did you ever? I know you had NES at least, but did you ever have a old computer?
Oh yeah. I played my two main sources were the computer and NES up until N64. So I played a lot of classics on the NES. What we had,
Yeah.
I mean, we played more like we had the trio with Mario, Duck Hunt, and the Track and Field.
Mm-hmm.
So we played that a lot. We had Ghost and Goblins, Gauntlet, played Gauntlet a lot, and Punch Out.
Of course.
It's like my friends didn't have the game system. I was the one who had the game system. So we only had what my dad bought for himself. And then my dad had a computer as far back as I could remember when computers were a thing. And I mean, that's what he was. He was a gamer.
Yeah.
He would play computer games and he played, Myst and that Shivers game that I was telling you about.
Mm-hmm.
And that's pretty much Alone in the Dark was the big one. Alone in the Dark was what got me into playing horror games. But then again, you look at Ghost and Goblins. I wasn't good at that game, but I liked that game.
Yeah.
Like that to me was more fun because it was creepy and I like Halloween aesthetics and stuff like that. So it drew me in really, really quick.
Yeah. I could ask you millions of different questions about old video games, but you really have to go back into the past as your younger self and think about what was so spooky about NES games, because to be frank, when you look at them right now, you don't really see a lot of
Definitely. Same with Alone in the Dark. You look at Alone in the Dark and you're like, what was scary about that?
Yeah.
But I remember I was spooked. I was like, this is great.
Well, that's the thing. We didn't really have a lot of other or better graphically improved games to compare against. So it was just a lot of pixels and plus your own imaginations. Like we can go all the way back to Atari as well, when you really had to use your imagination to see what is that? That's just a mess of a pixel, and then your imagination just filled up that empty void, and that was scary. Believe it or not, that was all it needed. So let's go back to DOS games or PC games, old PC games. Were there any particular ones you remember from that, or was that also Alone in the Dark?
That was Alone in the Dark.
Okay,
I played Alone in the Dark on the PC, and then I remember playing that Shivers game that I told you about, and Sanitarium.
Yeah.
A lot of the games that I played were based off of the kind that you found like at Walmart in the $10 and under section. And I'd always go for whatever spooky game I could find over there. My problem is I remember like bits and pieces of games, but I don't remember full games. I can't sit there I'll be sitting and talking about games. I can't remember the game, but I remember moments in the game.
Yeah.
I remember Alone in the Dark for me was the predecessor for Resident Evil in my brain. Now, is that a true statement? No, but in my brain, the way that it was played kind of reminded me, or whenever I was introduced to Resident Evil, then it was like, oh, I've played this kind of game before because I played, those games. But then I sit there and I'm like, was it Alone in the Dark, or was it a different game that I also played? Because I know it was Alone in the Dark, but I remember multiple episodes or games of it in different ways, different graphics, different stories. And I wish I could remember them better, but I just don't have the memory for that.
No.
No, not at all.
That makes sense. I mean, unless you played something rapidly over and over again, then maybe you might remember something. But there's a lot of games I remember which I never was able to finish, mostly because lack of English knowledge, to be honest. Like we were just talking about before even starting the recording, how Hugo, House of Horrors, for example, was something I was surprised to hear that you actually played it as well. That was a game that I just randomly, I don't know if it was one of my brothers who installed it to our old computer, but it helped me to learn English better because it was not a point and click game. It was more like one of those, you had to type stuff to unlock stuff. So it was a slightly different experience, but that was a game series I actually enjoyed. And
that was a good one.
It was. There was also another, like 2 and 3 as well in the same series, but as far as I remember, they were not as spooky as the first one. Do you know, or do you remember any other DOS games you played back in the day?
Outside of the horror genre, I remember playing like Max and Sam and
Sam and Max.
Or Sam and Max, that's it. Or Leisure Suit Larry. My mom had that game, and so I played it. Like the very first ones. Um,
Definitely not a horror game there, but
yeah, but I remember playing them. I remember playing Castle Wolfenstein,
yeah,
Myst, and then I would do silly games like what was it, Math Blasters, like a lot of I mean, games for kids, really.
yeah.
um,
That was a
Rampage. I remember Rampage, but that was an ES. That wasn't DOS.
yeah. DOS had a lot of crap. Let's just put it like that. But then
Yeah.
so does NES. So can really take it away from only being a DOS thing. But there was a lot of bad games which you and me both probably played, and the games that I would probably stand out being really horror-ish games was obviously the Hugo one, but then we cranked up the volume all the way tongueward by playing Doom, which for a poor child kid Ahmad was pretty terrifying to blast demons and whatnot with a awesome soundtrack and whatnot. So it was quite the experience and quite the graphical improvement for all the DOS shenanigans we had to suffer back then. Then there was, I don't think
Doom.
Doom again. Like Little Devil was one, which was really strange. You play with a devil that kept going through mazes after mazes after mazes, and my brain couldn't really understand where I was even going with the game. But it was a fun thing to play. Not really specifically horror, but I remember some portions of the game where like a massive huge spider with a spider web, you had to collect some items in the room, like bits and pieces like that which were related to horror. And then Mystic Towers was one. Apparently that was a horror game related. The genre was horror, even though you play with an old man jumping around the towers, and that was not exactly a horror in a sense.
We're talking about that's terrifying.
That's horrible. A lot of racing games, and there's a funny story, by the way. Now that we're talking about horror games, did you ever had Windows 3.1 in your DOS? Your old PC?
Probably.
Like the old Windows?
Oh, yeah.
There was this one game. What was the name? Like a ski something? And apparently, not even apparently, but it was a game that I enjoyed playing every now and then. And I always wanted to outrun a Yeti. In that game, when you reach a certain point in the game, there was a Yeti that just came down to you and ate you. And I always thought that was the scariest thing ever. Like,
that almost sounds familiar.
Yeah.
The Yeti part does.
Yeah, you basically just ski down a hill or a mountain, and then eventually a Yeti just appears out of nowhere and comes over and eats you. I recently watched a video out of this, and apparently the Yeti was some kind of like intentional programming idea in the game, which prevented you from going over some kind of a point limit or something, or a score limit. So I always tried to hold left or hold right, depending where he came from, and you could actually outrun him for a little bit, like some 30, 40 seconds, until he just captured you and ate you. I was like, no, stupid Yeti again.
Oh my goodness.
Experience.
Okay, yeah. I just looked it up. I remember.
Yeah.
I remember this. I remember the Yeti with his little stick figure arms.
Yeah. And for some reason, that was scary. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Stupid Windows games as well. Early ones.
Man.
I'm trying to remember all the DOS games, because Doom was obviously like I said, the big one that... Well, it was scary. Let's be honest. I mean, when you played it back in the day and there was some dark rooms and whatnot, it was scary. No hiding that fact. But
just like Myst.
That was a point and click game.
Yeah, it was that's the problem with those earlier games where a lot of them were point and click,
Yeah.
which is funny because I don't remember, and it's probably because I played the early 90s Alone in the Darks
Yeah.
later. I don't remember it being like, I look at Shivers. I don't remember that being a point and click game. But then you look at the game or you watch the game playthrough and you're like, that is just a point and click game. But it's because it's puzzles. So I feel like I'm doing something as opposed to just point and clicking.
Yeah. That was the era of point and clicks. I think
Yeah.
that genre has died out a little bit these days. They're still pumping out some games here and there, but they were everywhere back in the day on DOS, especially old PCs. Like all these Sierra games, like you said, Larry was one of them. But
God.
but then again, Larry was not a point and click until I think 7, the Love for Sales, whatever. That was a point and
Yeah.
click game, but the rest were just, just like Hugo games. You had to type something out to open or interact with anything.
Yeah. The Sam and Max games were definitely point and click.
Yeah, they were point and click. There was obviously Indiana Jones, Broken Swords. There was tons of like I said, that was the golden era of point and click games, and I feel like the only NES horror point and click game that I remember playing, which was obviously we didn't have a mouse on NES, so you had to awkwardly use your D-pad to control the mouse, so called. But that was Shadowgate, and Shadowgate to this day is actually a scary NES game because of the sheer music. It makes a really horrific atmosphere because of the music alone, and Murik, which was one of the guests on Stacked Odds earlier, he actually gave me the new Shadowgate game on Steam, which I still haven't played after all these months.
I remember watching Shadowgate, not the new one, but when you played the old one.
Yeah. And finally, I managed to beat it because that was definitely a game. Once again, little Ahmad didn't know much about English, so it was more like go here and press buttons and try to do stuff and make it work. And surprisingly enough, a lot of games I managed to beat despite not even knowing a lot of English language in general. But I don't,
that's impressive.
I don't know if a lot of English kids or American kids had the same problem.
Probably not in the same aspect.
No, like probably not even able to read anything yet, but once they understand, obviously that's a different story.
Yeah.
But those games aside, what about, you said you had N64 as well, right?
Mm-hmm. Now, N64 for me, I didn't really play any horror games on it. It's probably one of my favorite consoles just because I had, I was big Mario fan. So,
yeah,
I love playing Mario and 64. The like Diddy Kong Racing, Mario Kart, that was big for me because that was when my friends were finally starting to play the video games. That's another thing is that we kind of grew up in two different like my friends didn't have game consoles, didn't want to play video games. So it was harder for me to find people who would play the games with me.
Yeah.
It actually wasn't until college that I found people who would sit and we would play the GameCube together or my N64. But that was really when I got in, aside from playing with my sister on the N60 or NES when we were kids, I didn't have very many opportunities to really game with other people. So it was all on my own. I didn't get to go out and buy games that I really wanted until the N64. And then, well, let me backtrack a little bit. I got the Game Boy.
Yeah.
The original old school Game Boy. Excuse me. And and I played Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles like crazy on that. So that was probably in between those, really what I spent a lot of time doing was playing that. but I, again, didn't have access to a bunch of games because nobody else had it. And, my parents couldn't afford to buy me a whole bunch of games. So it's literally just, pick which game that you wanted. And of course, Ninja Turtles was what I was obsessed with. So that's what I went for. Um, I'm sure I had other games, but I just don't remember them as well as I remember that one. And then I moved to the N64, and then I played, N64 Mario, Mario Kart, Diddy Kong Racing, GoldenEye. I remember that one being a big one. I think, no, not Wolfenstein. I forget. I went back to Wolfenstein later in those years, in the college years especially too, of playing a lot more like shooter games.
Yeah, yeah. Wolfenstein is
Um,
definitely a more of a pew pew shooter.
oh yeah, yeah. But that's what kind of introduced me to more of that game style was playing those. Then the GameCube, the Resident Evils started coming into play right around then, and this is like at the end of college.
Yeah.
And then after that, after I left college, is when I was introduced to more games like PlayStations, because PlayStation was a game console that I didn't actually get to play on until after college. So, because just mainly because nobody else had it.
Mm.
No, none of us had it.
Yeah.
So none of us got to play with it. And so I got to play an Xbox too. I got to play Clock Tower 3 for the first time. And that was for PlayStation. And I fell back in love with that creepy aspect games of just like, and now that game to me is a one-off because it's not a fighting game in any sense. It's a hide, go hide from the bad guys
Yeah.
and that was the first time I had that experience with a game where you had to keep your sanity and all that kind of stuff kind of under wraps. And it wasn't, like I said, it wasn't until after college that I started really playing into more video games and stuff. I had the love of it from playing it as a child. I'd always wanted to be more into the gaming community, but like I said, I just wasn't exposed to it in the same way. I was very walking around with blinders on from what I was able to have access to.
Right.
But then, Fable, WoW, all those type of games come around and I'm like, teach me your ways. And I feel like that now too. It's like getting into the speedrunning community. I would love to be able to have the skill and the ability to be able to play the games at the level that everyone around me is playing them. But I'm so far behind when it comes to it. Do I have the skill and ability to learn it? Yes. Will it take me time? Yes. Because I didn't get to try it as much. I'm learning at the same, like when we play Mega Man, sometimes I feel like I'm the 6-year-old playing the game, not the 40-year-old playing the game. It feels silly.
Well, that's the thing of
But
speedrunning, though. There's obviously different skill levels for every game out there, but
mhm.
I would always suggest people not to compare yourself to anyone else and just run the game on your own pace and just beat your own times if you can. That's like the best kind of approach for speedrunning, so you wouldn't be worried about how good or bad you are compared to others, because you're playing for your own enjoyment, of course. And the moment speedrunning becomes something else, then it's not fun
Yeah,
anymore.
exactly. Well, that's how I've been for the past year. I've been like, oh, man, I wish there was a game that I really, really wanted to speedrun. Even the horror games, it's like I could speedrun Silent Hill,
Yeah,
but I've experienced it. So it's not as fun for me as it would be, playing it for the first time.
yeah.
But then the other day, you bought me Limbo. And for the first time, I was like, now this is a game I could speedrun, or try to speedrun, because it's constant, unsure, constant. Like, you could play that game multiple times and you're not sure what's going to happen.
Oh, like
You can plan it. You know, okay, this is when Limpo comes around or something like that, and this is where I need to run and stuff like that. But I feel like you're so concentrated on just finding the locations and stuff. That would be fun for me to navigate into getting a really good time on.
Okay, so what you're saying is that you're more into like RNG based gaming and random events than like a solid game that where you do the same thing over and over again. But that actually makes sense.
Yeah.
Like, it would keep the run more fresh. That there would be a little part of unknown in the run all the time, that you don't know what's going to happen. That's a good point. Yeah, I can definitely see why that would be more appealing to you than normal speedrunning. And obviously there's plenty of games like that, roguelites, whatever, that just changes. Like, every run is a different run, but as long as you still know and master the mechanics, then you can kind of go around the RNG and the randomness. But despite that, it's still going to be a different experience than you would play like a Mega Man game. It's always the same thing.
Right.
There was one aspect I wanted to talk with you about, especially when it comes to horror game related. Like, I was thinking about that one game I played it's probably like 5-6 years ago already, the Alien Isolation, where you play just a regular person, some maintenance person, I believe. I can't remember, some girl, either way. And even though you do have some weapons in the game, like a flamethrower, it's not a weapon that actually kills the alien that is chasing you all the time. That is, I still feel like Alien Isolation is probably one of the best examples of horror where you can't really do much about the enemy that is chasing you. You can't kill it. That's usually the problem with these so-called horror shooters. I don't get the horror at all of any shooters because I have a gun. I can do something about it. So that's why I'm not scared. But in this game, even though, like I said, you have flamethrower that can only push the alien away a little bit. It runs away, and that's it. You can't kill it. But you can still hear it running around in the vents and whatnot. It's the atmospheric feel of the game and just the sound environment, everything made in the game. I can't even imagine how good of a game that will be in VR when it comes to horror. So that's really awesomely done. Even though I personally played on Nightmare difficulty, which completely ruined the experience for me because there was no map. That game took away every fun aspect of the game, basically. So it was no longer as fun as it would have been, I imagine, in other difficulty settings. But that's definitely a horror game recommendation from me if you ever want to play a spooky game that there's someone always chasing you.
That's definitely one I haven't played. And it's interesting that you bring up the Alien game and the difference between, like we were talking before, the difference between Resident Evil horror and Silent Hill horror. I love both games, but I lean more towards the Silent Hill type of horror, whereas Resident Evil is more shoot 'em, get through. How hard is this boss going to be to kill, as opposed to how am I going to find my way through it? When it comes to games like Alien or any of them that have like a monster, and this the same with movies and TV shows that are scary. Like everyone's obsessed with Stranger Things. The minute I see the monster, I'm taken out of it. Like, I'm not scared anymore. I'm not like, especially if it's more of an alien creature type of thing, I'm going to be more scared of like a human being than I am going to be from some weird looking creature monster thing. I might be scared initially, but I'm not going to continue to be scared. That's why shows like Stranger Things, although they're fantastic, and I would recommend them to people, especially if they like the more spooky stuff. The minute a monster is introduced, it's not scary. It's not a horror anything anymore. But what you were saying about the Alien game, that is more something that I would be interested in. I mean, we all know what the alien looks like, so it's not necessarily going to be the alien that scares me, but the fact that I can't kill it, the fact that I can't get away with it, would be more entertainment for me, like in a gameplay.
That is a good point. Yeah, it's not scary unless you're really scared of xenomorphs, but I don't think anyone really is. Even though they are pretty horrific creatures with the little tiny thing in their mouth and whatnot. But it's like I said before, it's the sound effects. For example, you can hear it just running in a vent above you, and then suddenly you can hear
that's
it,
wonderful.
and then it just smacks down behind you, like boom. Oh no, I'm so dead. And then your camera turns around and you're just dead. I think I like that. I think I actually played the game on my YouTube channel as well. So I'm going to add a little clip of me just running away from the xenomorph. Old ass to lean back. Arvaa mitä mä siinä koko ajan tein. Nyt en kyllä selviä tästä hengessä. Mitä se juoksentelee ympäriinsä? Otetaan täältä vaan se riivaeri ei tarvita. Ei itses. No joo, ei tarvita. Otetaan nuo tagit vaan tosta ja mennään eteenpäin. Tai niin eteenpäin kun pystytään mennä mahdollisesti. Ei oo venttiaksessa eikä mitään laittu päällä. No moro! Ei nähnyt. Hoh! Ei nähnyt. No mitä ihmettä? Ai jaa! Kuinka salaman nopeasti tonne hyppäs oikein? Tuo oli kyllä aika bullshit. Se teleporttas tänne toi runkkari. Vaikka nyt alienit onkin nopeeta, mutta hei. Give me a fucking break. That game is it's you have such a good point there when it comes to like horror. Same for me. Like once you see the monster, that's the initial fear. It will be gone. It's more like the anticipation and just not seeing what's out there that scares me at least, and probably you as well. Speaking of horror though, I still, even though there's plenty of games that actually scared me, but I just can't get over the fact that Subnautica has been the top one horror game for me. That even though I finished the game, I'm proud of myself. But once again, it was a game. I keep repeating myself. I think I mentioned about this in every podcast when I started talking about Subnautica. It's a great game though. I was an idiot for pre-ordering it, and then I like played the game 5 years later. So I don't know what that was all about. But it was a game where it starts off so nicely. You start off with the safe shallows. Everything is so beautiful and vibrant. You know, you just collect items. Nothing is scary about it. And then you dwell into the depth of the ocean. And since you have no idea what to expect, it's the fear of unknown that hits you really badly. You can start hearing all sorts of, once again, sound effects are brilliant in that game. And that carries a whole lot in the fear. You can hear something in the distance roaring. And unfortunately in Subnautica, when you hear something roaring in the background, they already saw you. You're messed up. Yep. You're in trouble. And then you hear that roar right next to you, and you just piss your pants. Like, but you have to go back to the point of once you know they're there, once you know what to expect, what kind of monster you're expecting to find from that region, the effectiveness of the scare goes away, just like uh, in any kind of a movie or series. You see the monster, it's gone. That's it.
Yep.
Yes, the sound effects will still probably scare you, but once you know it's there, that's it. It's gone, and it's the knowledge that carries over the lack of fear.
Unless the creature or whatever it is done to an extent that it gives you fear continuously. Like example, Pyramid Head. I love Pyramid Head. There is just something about Pyramid Head that is terrifying, knowing that whenever you see him, it's going to, be the hardest fight that you have, or watching in the movie, in the Silent Hill movie, they made him in a way that just it really captivated or captured how terrifying this creature is, this person is, with the giant sword, and the sounds dragging and stuff, or like The Grudge, how the creepy girl from The Grudge is always terrifying every single time I see her.
Yeah.
There is no, but for the most part, most horror shows or horror games and things like that definitely lose that impact once that's there.
Yeah, that's very true.
Of course, we were raised in a time frame when the really popular horror films were Freddy and Jason and Michael Myers, more human based.
Right.
We are also raised in a time when there were like zombies. Like, it was a really big thing in zombies. Even before us came The Exorcist, before, Rosemary's Baby, the more demon, or I don't know. I don't know the word I'm looking for. Our time frame was really into the slasher type stuff.
Yeah.
So the monsters came a little bit after. So I think that what you're introduced to in the younger years, so we had, the demons, and then we had the slashers, made it to where we had an expectation and a different view on what is scary.
Yeah. That is very true. Like, for example, there's Godzilla was a massive thing in Japan and the Western culture, but it never really caught up here, at least in Europe, that much that I ever believed that Godzilla was a scary monster. But yeah.
Well, if you ask my mom is absolutely deathly afraid of vampires.
Really?
And because those were the scary movies that she saw, or Psycho. She was absolutely deathly afraid of taking a shower by herself because she was a little kid when she saw Psycho.
Yeah.
Whereas I watched Psycho and I laughed because it was like
yeah.
No spoilers, but
Yeah.
I don't want to spoil the ending.
There's a lot of different so-called horror movies, like Gremlins, for example. I was scared of some scenes in the movie which are still lingers in my mind, even though we just watched Gremlins 1, and even what was the other movie with the rolling furry balls?
What's the name? I can't remember it.
Yeah, either way, like, there's some sections which I found really scary back in the day, but when I watch them right now, I can't help but laugh. Same with like Mars Attacks, for example, which I don't know if that was a horror movie, but I was freaking traumatized when I watched it in the movie theaters back in the day.
Yeah. Well, that's another really good example. Is we had a lot of funny horror. We had Ghostbusters. I
Yeah,
mean,
even in Ghostbusters.
Ghostbusters 2, I was so afraid to take a bath because I was afraid that pink goo was going to come out. I remember sitting in my den watching that movie, then being told to go take a bath, sitting in the bathroom crying because I was too afraid to turn the faucet on.
Because of the goo.
Yeah, because of the goo.
Yeah.
And you watch Ghostbusters now, and there's no way that's terrifying. But that's what we were raised around.
See,
the ha funny, campy style horror.
But see, do you remember the library scene in Ghostbusters? I think that was probably Ghostbusters 2 or something. Or was it? Either way, like there was this scene where they went to the library and there was this really horrifying looking female ghost, and that was always a moment where I got scared in that movie.
Like the old lady?
Yeah. Turn around and just... Yeah. That was scary. Once again, mostly practical effects. Obviously the ghosts were not, but it was... I really can appreciate the old effects in older horror movies. They just had more effects like the Fly movies.
Oh man!
Like that creature was so horrifying to see back in the day. The Thing, yeah,
it was.
I can name so many, like, just scary old movies that still haunts my mind for one reason or another.
Yep.
But I don't really remember any. Like, I have this horrible thalassophobia. I'm just scared of anything deep when it comes to ocean water. But I don't really remember a lot of such movies back in the day, though. Obviously, we have Jaws and whatnot, but those were not related to that. It was just a shark killing people.
Right.
But there was another game called Soma, which I also played to YouTube, by the way. But that would be a game that I would want you to see. You play one of these days, because it's even though it is underwater game, there's a lot of indoor sections as well. But it's also a game where you can't really kill what is chasing you. So it would make it makes an awesome Let's Play kind of a game for anyone to play. But I remember a couple of things from that game that I noped out, almost just quit out the game altogether. Like, just...
Well, did you ever play Still Wakes, The Deep?
No, I haven't played that, no.
You should play that one.
Probably, yeah, that's another game that I need to play if I really want to enhance my phobia here. But Soma had probably a bit of a spoiler, but there's a section where you go deeper and deeper in the game, obviously. And then there was this one moment where you're on this underwater catwalk, and there's a drop down. Like, all you see is emptiness and darkness. Yeah. And I can't even describe how scared I was when it's actually on YouTube, so I can probably link you after this podcast, but it's like that was a moment where I knew exactly what was going to happen if I just practically jump down and, kill myself. Because that's just vast emptiness. There's nothing. The pressure will eventually kill you for sure. I mean, that would be the logical assumption here. But because it was darkness, complete emptiness, my brain just kept thinking that something will pop in there. I see a massive, huge eye or something. Just imagination running wild. That was the scariest part of it. Because the logic did not follow me through. I never jumped. I actually watched it from YouTube, what happens when you jump over. So, like I said, just massive pressure building up. Your suit gets destroyed. You're dead. Just simple stuff.
Yeah.
Not exactly what I was... Well, my imagination was hoping to see, but...
Right.
But then the game decided to put me on an elevator that went all the way down to the bottom of the ocean, where it was, well, as dark as you can imagine. And there was this spotlights which marks your way where you need to go. And the game did me dirty, big time. Because even though there's all sorts of sounds going on, rumbles, like maybe earthquakes, I don't know, and then something massive roaming around above you, some kind of a serpent or worm. I don't know what it was, because I just ran like I was just scared. But I saw a brief like a glimpse of it, and I just ran. But that was not the worst thing. There was, like I said, about these lights, these white lights that guides your paths where you need to go. And there was this one alternative path, like a little cave full of small spiders. Spiders doesn't scare me. That's fine. So I went there. I followed the lights, and then I look around for a moment. I was like, did I lose the lights? And I saw one in the pitch black darkness. Went towards it. It was not a light anymore. It came closer. And it was one of those freaking anglerfish monsters. And I freaked the shit out.
Oh my goodness, I need to see this.
That was the dirtiest trick ever, because the game teaches you to follow the lights and then that happens. You piece of shit. God.
I love it. I love it.
And I was so scared. I can just admit it. The whole section was horrifying. Absolutely. I was in panic. I just wanted to run inside the next habitable place I could find.
Well, I mean, that does sound scary. So
Yeah, it is. It's a great game. I think you also need to play it at some point.
You'll have to send that one to me too.
Makers of the Amnesia, The Dark Descent.
Now that's a game that I have actually never played.
Oh, well, there you go. That would be a...
But the reason I never played it was because I've watched it being played.
Ah, okay. Well, yeah, that's also scary, and also a game that is kind of slow paced, but builds the atmosphere around just being as slow as it is, and all the sound effects and whatnot. So it's a good game.
And that was the reason I never played it, was because I started watching Let's Plays. I think it was Cutie Pie who I ended up watching play that, not even realizing that it existed at the time. So I watched the whole thing, and then I was like, oh, I would have enjoyed that game.
There's endless amount of horror video games. People have different past and different experience of what they find scary. And if you have, by the way, if you're listening to this right now, and you have a story to tell, please share down in the comments. If you're watching this on YouTube, I don't know if Spotify even have comment section. Probably not. But yeah.
Or a suggestion for a game.
Yeah, or that. I know I will just make Ninja play a game next that is horrifying. I will usually skip
I'd love
them.
to. I mean, if you can tell me a game that I haven't heard of or played that is truly terrifying, I would absolutely love to play it.
Yeah.
That was like that Limbo. That Limbo game really got me. Like, I wasn't scared, but I was on the edge of my seat. And it's not a game that I would have found on my own. And I'm so glad I played it.
Yeah.
Like, I really enjoyed that game.
It's based on Finnish mythology. So if there's any Finnish people watching this, just go check Limbo on Steam. There's a lot of Finnish and Finnish lore included, obviously. It was a game. Probably not the best horror game, but still, it did some things right, like the atmosphere by itself, and that was probably enough to hook Ninja into the game.
Yep.
But yeah.
The only horror games that I can continuously go back to are like Phasmophobia. Like, and I know we were talking about that one earlier, but that is a game that encompasses all the aspects of horror that can keep me coming back. It's not the same. Mind you, I can play the game by myself. If I'm playing with people, I'm 10 million times less scared. But if I'm playing by myself, I can get a little on edge, but more so just frustrated that I can't solve the answers.
When you're playing with me, of course, I've had the game forever. I think I played it like 5 minutes. I would be just running around and scared. Where is it?
You're gonna be a van sitter.
And you would just laugh.
Fan the whole time.
Yeah.
I would. I remember playing that game when it came out and becoming so obsessed with it that I bought, like, I have a t-shirt that says like ghost bait, or the official ghost bait,
Yeah.
because everybody had like a different role that you play inside of it. You had the one person that wasn't afraid, and then the one person that wouldn't even leave the van, the one person that was more so just trying to get the things inside, and then the person that was going crazy inside, like, oh, I can't do this, I'm too scared.
Can it even go in the van? The ghost?
No, they can't leave the house.
Okay.
So you'll be safe there, outside.
I know where to stay when if we play the game.
You mean when?
When?
When we play the game.
Nothing is certain.
Except that.
Except that. Yeah. But yeah, games aside, we could talk about this forever, because obviously horror genre in video games is endless. There's games coming out every year, especially around now, because it's Halloween season, and Halloween is about to start soon. That's the last day of October, right?
Yeah, Friday.
Yeah, so that's gonna be fun, spooky times for especially Americans. Our Halloween here is very mild, even though they've been pushing the idea of having it here because they sell all the merchandise and candies and other crap included in that. But I personally really like the idea of Halloween, and especially the Mexican version.
Dia de los Muertos.
Yeah, the Day of the Dead.
Day of the Dead. That's actually the day after Halloween.
Oh yeah, that's pretty interesting and fun looking. A lot of games have had that, so including Tomb Raider. I can't remember the name. One of the newer Tomb Raider games. It starts with the Day of the Dead celebrations, and always excited to see that. And the movie we watched recently that had Day of the Dead.
Yeah, Coco.
That was
such a good movie.
Yep. But yeah, games aside, let's talk about something neither of us really believes in, which is unnatural. I guess you can call that paranormal, and something ghostly, something you believe strongly or you don't. Paranormal activity or poltergeists or apparitions or ghostly sounds, whatever. But do you have any stories related to this? Like, have you ever seen a ghost?
No,
Not.
I have not. I've had experiences. Like, I remember being in my bedroom with some friends, and I don't even remember what we were all talking about and stuff. But all of a sudden, the door handle literally just went, like, turn.
Yeah.
Like, that slowly too. And everyone else in the room was just for sure, that's a ghost. There's something out there. And of course, I'm the type that's going to be like, well, let's find out. So I stand up and I open the door, and then the cat is running around the corner. I'm like, so the cat jumped on the door handle.
Yeah.
and moved the door handle. And of course, in my brain, that's how I rationalized it out. But everybody else, just for the rest of the night, was, oh no, it's a ghost. It's a ghost. We're all haunted. And then everyone starts telling their versions of their, experiences and stuff. And for me, I would love for it to be. I'm one of those people that I won't believe it until I see it or experience it myself, or have really valuable proof in front of me.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean that I don't want to. It's not that I'm saying that it's not real or couldn't be real. I really want it to be real. That would be awesome. I just, in my experiences, have never actually had any experiences that I can remember.
Yeah.
That I will say, when I was playing a video game on the computer when I was a kid, the den had my back. So if I'm facing the computer, my back is to the back door. That's all the way across the room. And I was home alone. I was playing a spooky game. And all of a sudden, the back door just flung open. And my dog was just standing there staring. And it was creepy. and very unexplainable since it was locked, but it was just a door, you know.
Yeah.
The wind was blowing pretty crazy outside, so it did make sense that the door would open like that.
Yeah.
But even at that age, I was very much like, let me rationalize it. Let me figure out. I wasn't like, I can't.
Yeah. Logical
I
explanations.
Yeah. I mean, even as a kid, at slumber parties, every single slumber party I had ever gone to as a kid, we did the Ouija board. We did light as a feather, stiff as a board. Um, we did Bloody Mary in the mirrors. It was when I was being raised, it was very much entertainment,
Yeah.
not not real. Not that it's not real, but not we never had the experience. Like I don't have an experience where one of my friends floated during Light as a Feather, or
Yeah.
when I didn't believe somebody else was moving the Ouija board. So unfortunately for me, I don't have any good ghost stories.
That's okay. I mean, I'm same with you when it comes to believing. Not a believer here. I'm a huge fan of watching all sorts of paranormal series and people investigating these so-called haunted locations, having all these weird equipments with them, which I don't know if any of them actually work or not. But it's cool to think that they would work. Like this. What was it called? Some kind of a device that just switches radio stations and then, like,
Oh, the Estes method. It's the radio. It's just flipping through radio stations, and the spirit or entity can communicate by
yeah,
pulling the stations.
yeah.
But
That's something that, even though, once again, I don't believe in these things, but I believe that that's real in the sense of, that word came out or something similar came out of it. Does it mean that there's a spirit or something around? Probably no, but it's cool to think that device like that would work as a device a communication device between living and the death. It's I just find it entertaining rather, to watch these kind of things, and it's not necessarily something I would ever believe unless something happened to me. I have a few stories I could tell, which I remember that I haven't really found explanation for. I do have to mention one which is just funny. This is not really related to my unnatural or supernatural stories, but there was this hand puppet my parents had called Noitavuori, which means the witch mountain. It was a very scary looking old lady witch puppet, hand puppet, and both of my brothers were always trying to scare me with it, and eventually I guess some kind of a weird trauma every time someone came in front of me with it, like, which mountain is coming in front of you? I just ran away, and it was the spookiest thing ever. But I feel like that was connected to my fear of dolls or puppets in general, because I just like the dark ocean depths. I never found puppets be something, or dolls, something that I would want to have in my apartment ever. I find them really scary. So this experience was probably related to why I have such a fear in the first place. One thing I remember, 2005 when I was in the army. It was probably one of the later camps we did, just like 5-6 months in. And I was left in a guard. It was very, like 2 a.m., middle of the night, out of nowhere. Full moon and everything, so it was extremely bright. Like, you could practically see everything because of under the moonlight. And I was left in guard with another friend of mine. We were obviously just, playing around, guarding a section with our guns and everything. And this was near the eastern border between Finland and Russian. And there was also, according to history, there was a bunch of battles there between Finland and Russia. So a lot of like mass graves in that area. Uh, and there was obviously the moon was so bright that you could see everything, and also, which is the only logical reason that I could think of, there was a light fog like covering this snowy ground, a very light fog, and in the distance there was a bunch of trees, and my friend told me that he's seeing something moving in the distance. Like this could be some kind of a practice, for us, that we need to alert everyone. That's what we first thought. That he told me that there's something moving in between the trees, and I was looking around as well. And eventually, I did notice the same thing when he was trying to point out. There was some kind of a weirdly figure or apparition moving between one tree to another. And then eventually, this figure came out of the open a little bit, just for a moment, like a second or two, maybe not even 2 seconds, and then it vanished into thin air, just like that. So I don't believe that was anything supernatural in the sense of that could have been just the fog, like I said, under the moonlight, reflecting from the snow or something. But what makes it really interesting as a story is the fact that we were able to see a red beret, like a detail, a hat on his head or her head, I don't know what it was, and a military outfit. A gray one, which doesn't really match anything else than Finnish army soldiers. But we both saw it, and we both confirmed our stories from each other. It was really strange, which I haven't really found a logical explanation to. Not that it makes me a believer, like I said, but could have just been a vision of an imagination that, late at night, we both try to see things, but the fact that we both saw the same thing at the same time makes it more believing than anything. Yeah. But yeah, that was pretty interesting, and that's what I like about all these ghost stories and whatnot. And if a location has a story, I mentioned about this to Ninja earlier, before the podcast as well. But like let's say a hotel has a story of people dying in there, or some kind of a story of a ghost haunting the aisles, the halls of a hotel, and then people's imagination starts to roam around, and they might even see these things because they want to see them. So that's a story alone can make a huge impact to one's imagination. Not necessarily make it
Very
true,
much
but
so.
Yeah.
Most
recent, I have to mention this.
I think I know what you're gonna.
No, probably not that. But
really?
Most recent.
Not coughing ghost.
No,
ghost.
no.
I thought you were gonna.
I'm pretty sure who that is at this point. So it's not a ghost. At my apartment, I keep hearing someone coughing and been hearing that quite a few months. But yeah, I think we know what that is, so don't have to mention about that. Even though the walls are very thick, for some reason that particular cough always goes through. I don't know why. But recently, earlier this year, unfortunately, my beloved cat passed away at the age of, was it 16, I think. Yeah, or 17. I can't remember. Either way, she was an old cat already. Passed away, and ever since after that, my apartment has had some weird things happening. Nothing overly scary, but I've seen weirdly small apparitions at the side of my eyes, which once again, I'm not a believer. It's one of those probably comfort zones that, hey, she's here watching me or something. But I don't really believe that as much as I would. That could just be my dizzy eyes seeing whatever. Sometimes they see apparitions all over the place. But the one thing I want to point out is one night when I was sleeping, my door opened just like in Ninja's case. My bedroom door opened just a little bit, just like my cat used to do. Just poke it in a little bit so she can fit in, and it doesn't have to be a whole lot. And my bedroom door locks or latches itself in, so it's impossible to pull open. So you have to turn the handle to open. But I'm not sure it was fully even in. So this could have been just I don't know, maybe the wind coming from my open window or something, just to pull it slightly open. It was just interesting that it happened exactly the same way when my cat used to do it. So, maybe my imagination wanted to say good things about my cat or remember her as she was. But it was I find these things good and comforting in a sense.
Yeah.
Like nothing
Very much so.
nothing bad or something that is haunting my apartment. It's just more like oh, maybe she's still here.
That energy is still there, and you get to experience it. I think that's what makes it less frightening.
Yeah.
Of the idea of ghosts. I mean, I feel like if there were ghosts and it was all bad and things like that, we would have a lot more issues with it.
Yeah. Things getting thrown around.
But you did remind me a couple of things.
Yeah.
Well, we'll start with the latter. So my Nana, my mom's mother, was deathly afraid of birds. Absolutely deathly afraid of birds.
Oh, birds.
And yeah, birds. And she died when I was a freshman in high school.
Yeah.
And when I graduated, a red bird, it was an outdoor event. And as I walked across the stage, a red bird landed on the little banister in front of my mom.
Yeah.
And it sat there staring at the stage as I walked across the stage, as I got my diploma, as I walked down the steps. As soon as I was off the steps, the bird flew away. And my mom believed that that was my Nana coming and being there at the ceremony. And I always thought that was a fun little story that she would tell. But then when you went back to the dolls thing, when I was a little kid, there was these dolls that came out that would have actual names, and they would have like little birth certificates with the names in it. And so the goal was to find the doll with your name. And there was a Natalie doll, but there wasn't an Alicia doll, which is my sister's name.
Yeah.
And she hated that. She was so angry that we were going to go to the toy store, Toys R Us, back when they still existed.
Yeah.
And we were going to get the Natalie doll, but we weren't going to get an Alicia doll. And my mom told her, like, oh, you can get a different one. She's like, it's not the same. And this little Natalie doll had a green dress with purple polka dots, blonde hair with little pigtails. Cutest little doll. And my sister, later that night when we got home, I remember she came into the room and she was like messing with the dress and fixing the hair. And she sat her up. I had this really big dresser. It had two big mirrors on it. And she stuck the doll right in front of the one mirror, facing right towards my bed. And mind you, I was getting in bed at this time. And she goes, you know that if a doll has your name, then it's probably going to kill you when you sleep. Take over.
Yeah.
I never wanted that doll in my room ever again. I was just like, F this, get it out. I cried and cried myself to sleep that night, just staring at the doll sitting in front of the mirror, just like, it's going to kill me. It's going to kill me. I'm going to die from a doll. And it was absolutely terrifying. My sister didn't remember that story until I brought it up maybe this last year, I think it was. And she laughed so hard. She was just like, yeah, it worked. And I'm just, the things people can do when you're a kid just to make you scared is
I know.
hilarious.
Just make believe stories, and that's imagination fills the rest.
And the way you remember it too, because I remember it being like a rainy, spooky night whenever we went and got the doll. I'm sure it was like the middle of the day. Like the way you remember things,
Yeah.
but that doll, and you can actually, later on, I'll show you the doll. You can look up the doll. Just look up Natalie baby doll with the green and purple dress. That's the doll. It was the sweetest little looking baby doll.
So it wasn't even scary at all. It was just a very
No, absolutely not. Not scary in the least bit.
Wow. And you thought that would just kill you.
Yep. She was going to take over my she was going to kill me, take my body, and pretend she was me for the rest of her life.
That reminds me of a freaking South Park episode where I believe it was Kyle who bought some kind of goldfish from a pet store that was built on a graveyard, and during the night he was watching the goldfish, and then his eyes closed, and then he opened, and the goldfish was closer and then closer and closer. It was like, oh my god, it's coming to kill me.
That's hilarious.
Like in a bowl.
Yeah, I remember when I was, because that was another thing that we used to do a lot was tell ghost stories.
Yeah.
And I remember being really good at coming up with ghost stories. Like I was the one that everybody always wanted, oh, tell your ghost story. And I would have to like come up with a ghost story right on the spot. And being really good. I only remember one ghost story that I ever told though. And it was really dumb. Like wasn't even remotely terrifying. A babysitter was babysitting a little kid and they wanted to go to the park. And she said, no, we can't go to the park this late at night because the Sandman will get you. And well, who's the Sandman? The Sandman is there at the park and he lures children there, and in the middle of the night he will take them and they'll never be seen or heard from again. A few years later the little girl wants to run away from home because she's really upset, and she runs to the park and she's just sitting on the swing set and she's just thinking about that one time that her babysitter told her. And then suddenly something grabs her foot and just pulls her underneath the dirt and sand. And I remember everybody being terrified of that. And I was just like, I literally came up with it in 2 seconds. I'm sure it was more detailed back then, but that was it.
I just saw the picture of the doll you showed. I'm gonna add it to the podcast for YouTube viewers as well.
Yeah, that was, so she is kind of scary now.
I'm sorry, but yeah, that is really scary. I would not be comfortable sleeping in the same room with that.
And she doesn't have pigtails. She just has the one little thing on the top of her head.
Oh
my goodness. Yeah, she is pretty scary.
That is super
like I
horrifying.
don't remember her being that scary.
Oh my god, yeah. I would definitely think that will come and kill me. Jesus Christ. Wow.
Oh man.
Ugh. Never again when it comes to dolls. Some cute plushies are fine, but dolls, ugh.
She's terrifying.
A lot of people actually believe that dolls have the energy, they have positive and bad energy as well. That's Chucky energy right there.
It really is.
Oh my god.
I'm gonna find a better picture of it just because, I mean, these are all like eBay stock photos.
God, so bad. I would never ever sleep in the same room with that. Some kind of a demonic possession would happen and it would just slaughter me on the spot.
Okay, her name was Natalie, okay? So funny, Natalie.
I think I
was
have to
her
worry
name.
about future Natalie encounters here. Wow. I think your sister has to be happy that she didn't get a doll that with her name. Oh, horrifying. Absolutely horrifying. Never again.
Love it.
Okay, well, I don't think I have any other supernatural that's ever happened to me. Well, I suppose there is one, but it's only for my. I was the only person who saw it, like in the cabin. Even you visited my cabin, some summer family cabin there. As you see, it's in the middle of nowhere. It's like forest around. There's nothing really, anything around it. And if you don't know, we in Finland have during summertime the sun never really leaves the horizon, so all the nights are completely lit up. But depending how close to autumn you are, once again the morning fog and morning mist can rise pretty rapidly and just make everything completely hard to see around you, covering the entire area. There's no swarms or anything around, but it's just like a big open area, so the mist can just land down on it. So one night, like 3 o'clock or something, I decided to look outside, and I'm 100% sure that I saw like a torch or some kind of a source of light through the mist. And this was towards the back end of our cabin, which is just forest. No one lives there. Absolutely no one. And we are in the middle of nowhere. So that was kind of like, what is that? What can it be? Literally like a torch fire moving from left and right. And I had no explanation for that at all. Weird things happening.
That's creepy.
I know. Especially when you're not alone, but, you know, who knows who might be walking there.
Right.
Cabin stories they're pretty, well, usually gives a good base for a horror story or horror movie.
Yeah, anywhere where you don't have access to quick help.
Yeah.
It's a
remote
great
locations.
base. Mm-hmm.
Well, what else do you want to talk about? My ideas just dropped out.
I don't know.
What
You're asking the wrong person.
What horror stories do you have? Share everything you have right now.
Oh,
your favorite.
now I've forgotten
your favorite horror movie. Let's go with that.
I'm gonna stick with The Grudge. It's always been a go-to favorite of mine. There's just something about Japanese horror in general that is fantastic. Like it's above all other type of horrors.
Yeah.
But I will say that I do enjoy like the Paranormal Activities. I felt like that was a great after such a dry spell with horror films for so long, it was a great comeback for the horror genre, as was The Conjuring.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it is a hard genre to really get right. This goes for games and movies. It's not easy to make it a not perfect, but near perfect scare each time. So, but yeah, The Grudge will get me every time, and that's the Juon, and the American one will get me. I don't know why. Just that idea that you can't kill it and it will kill you, and also just how creepy she is, the reasons she died, and the reason I like the fact that it's somebody innocent that has become evil.
Yeah.
So if you don't know what The Grudge is, it literally is she was killed, murdered by her husband, as was her kid, and comes back for revenge. So a spirit killed in the heat of anger or with unfinished business or things like that just becomes pretty much like a demon. So she's just angry. And it doesn't matter who you are, she's going to seek her revenge on whatever is in front of her because that's what's accessible.
Yeah.
So I love that.
Yeah.
What about you?
Well, not a huge fan of horror movies in general, but I actually haven't seen Paranormal Activity myself. It's something
Add it to the list.
something I probably have to watch, but I wouldn't call this the favorite of mine, but it's something that got stuck in my mind, like the Chucky movies. Like once again, coming to the doll fact. And this probably goes all the way back to the Mars Attacks things. Like if I would watch that these days, I would just laugh my ass off. Like Chucky is not particularly scary.
Right.
But as a little kid, I found that extremely disturbing to have like a little doll just slaughtering people.
Chucky's pretty scary. That's a good one.
Yeah, I can't remember how many movies there are from Chucky, but at least the first one, that was really, really scary for me. Well, there is one more question I want you to have. Surely you remember some of your nightmares. What is the most spookiest nightmare you have ever seen or remember? I know dreams are pretty difficult sometimes. Well, pretty often actually. We wake up and then we remember the whole thing for a brief moment until our brain just tells us, no, that's not a thing you should remember, and then it's gone. But do you have any dream that is like super ghoulish or nightmarish?
I have one recurring, well, technically two, but one major recurring dream that I always had growing up, and even nowadays I'll still have it. Mind you, if I have a horror dream, this is the weird me again, but they're like, I don't wake up scared, like, oh, I just had a nightmare. I wake up kind of laughing.
Yeah.
Because I'm one of those people that can take control of their dreams if they're close to waking up. So it's very easy for me to be able to separate dream versus reality. But this one, it was always in an indoor swimming pool, and me and my sister and tons of people were there. And my sister was walking up the ladder for the high dive. And so I walked down and you look down into the water normal, and it's just nice, perfect, clear pool water. So I walked down into the locker room, which goes down underground onto the side of the pool. And it's like at a SeaWorld where you can see into the water.
Yeah.
And there's just sharks and orcas and seaweed. It's pretty much just a vast ocean. And as I look up, my sister's jumping off the high dive into the water, right where like an orca is. And then I always woke up. And it was the exact same dream every single time. I think there was more to it, actually. I think like I ran up to the top at one point and looked back down, and there was just plain water.
Yeah.
I think in one time I tried to yell at her not to jump into the water, and she still jumped in. But that's probably the creepiest
Okay.
nightmare that I've had.
It's kind of interesting to have reoccurring dreams. I've had some as well. That doesn't happen really often, but it's a weird thing that, especially when you do remember the previous time, like, hey, what? I've been here before, and then you kind of want to change it, but at least for me, the outcome has always been pretty much the same on these dreams. But personally, I have multiple nightmares I could just talk about, but there's one that is most hilarious, if you know what I'm talking about, and then the most terrifying when you know the context of it. I was at my... I feel like these kind of dreams are the worst, where the dream starts of you waking up from your bed, Like
Yep.
that's what makes it even worse because your mind thinks it is real.
Mm-hmm.
So I woke up from my room, my bed, at my parents' house, and there was this one kids show, Moomit, or Moomin, I guess in English. And in that show, it's a Finnish-Japanese show that has these little hippos, white hippos. That you know what Moomin is. Just go and Google it. Either way, there is this. Let's call it a monster, I guess, character which only appears during wintertime, which was probably one of the reasons why I hate winter in the first place. But the name was Croak, or Mörkö in Finnish, which means like a monster, basically. Yeah, that could be a pretty good word for it. She was this weird looking purple, like a cloak covered character, a person. Not a person. I guess it's a monster. Just call it a monster. And in the Finnish version, the Finnish dub, that thing always growled. And it was like a kind of a growl. Really horrible, angry sound, which made every kid back in the day scared of it, including myself. And the reason why everyone was afraid of it was not only because of the growl, but the fact that every time if she touched you, you froze, like you became ice instantly. So you didn't really want to hug her or give her any kind of attention. But the sad part is, which later, spoiler, she always wanted to find a friend. She was lonely. But no one could touch her because, you know, you would turn yourself into an icicle and kill yourself by doing so. But yeah, in my dream, I woke up and she was basically outside the house, outside the windows. Every time I tried to look outside, she was there, like growling and just trying to get inside somehow. I was just running around the freaking house back and forth in panic. And then I think I saw her at the front of the house trying to get inside, so I tried to escape from the house from the back, opening the back door, and just around the corner she was right there in front of me. I could still see the massive figure in front of me, and she touched me, and then I woke up. And I woke up in a pool of sweat. I feel like I was just either running, you know, on the bed or trying to run or something, but I was in full panic mode. That was a horrifying nightmare to experience. Thankfully, I didn't have to see it ever again, but yeah, that's a character you should look into when you're...
Yeah.
Or Google Croak, Groka, or E. That's it looks very... Well, I guess it's not super spooky look-wise, but the growling was the one that made it really special. In the English version, I think they completely removed the growling, so that cranked down the scariness of the monster like 10 to 1, or should I say hungry to 0. It was a weird change, but yeah, the growling was one of the big part of it.
You can get a Groke plushie.
Oh,
just so you know.
Let's not. I'm sure there's characters of every single Moomin character, plushies, I mean, of every single Moomin character out there. Mm-hmm. But yeah, she was a scary, scary thing. And Moomin is a weird show where it's meant for kids, but there's a lot of like really horrifying episodes in the series that just traumatize kids all around Finland and whatever other country the show showed or was on. Like JP, for example, one of our buddies said that he if I remember this right, he was not scared of Krog, but he mentioned about being afraid of the Ice Queen, which also happened during wintertime. Her stare could freeze you. It's the same way that Krog did. And she also looked brutally like she wanted to kill you. They made her extra scary look-wise as well. And she was riding a frozen horse, made out of snow. So yeah, that show has some really scary moments and scary characters. I'm sure you guys, whoever is listening to this, have your own shows back in the day as kids that made you go like, why am I watching? It's too scary. Not exactly super scary, but I remember one show, the animals of the farting, let's call it farting, woods. That was a show about some animals and humans destroying their habitat. Then they have to move to another place. And you wanted every single animal to survive, all the snakes and the birds and the foxes and whatever. But man, that was a brutal show where after like episodes 10 or 15 or whatever, you were like so into it. Yeah, everyone's going to make it. And then out of the blue, there's going to be some human hunter just shooting the birds out of the open. Just gore and blood everywhere. Like, what the... What? That was a horrifying thing to see as a kid. Your characters dying on screen.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. See? I'm fully traumatized by my own stories. But yeah, that aside, do you have anything else to add, Ninja Penguin?
Oh, there was a loud knock outside. It was the neighbors.
Oh, now you're trying to see some ghosts, yeah. Only appropriate for Halloween season. I hope this podcast doesn't bring out the death. We're hoping that at least. Doesn't resurrect any dead people. But yeah, anything you want to say?
Sorry, our power just went out for a second. No, I can't think of anything.
Okay, well, that was pretty much all the things I wanted to cover in this episode. But yeah, if you guys have any stories you want to share, please do on the comment section or even come to Discord to talk about this. As I said, I'm not much of a believer myself, but I'm a huge fan of listening and reading stories about supernatural, just like Ninja is.
Yes.
But
definitely love him.
But yeah, Ninja will be a co-host in the future podcast episodes. She will help me bring out the unknown side of things. When I know gaming, she does everything else. Everything else.
I don't know if it's everything else, but you know.
She's more of a people person, while I'm not, so it works together perfectly. But yeah, she will be a great addition for this podcast, and I'm really deeply sorry we haven't been able to record anything in a while. There have been some multiple events and health issues, and life in general, I guess, has been quite the thing. Isn't that the truth?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, either way, thank you, Ninja, for having this talk.
Well, thanks for having me.
We will be back on episode 7, which is still unknown who's going to join, but I'm sure there's going to be someone joining because I have seen people actually listen to these podcasts, weirdly enough. But yeah, we'll be back until, I don't even know. I'm not going to give you guys any kind of a time limit, but we're going to try to get at least 1 or 2 episodes out before the end of the year. Sounds good? Yes.
Sounds good.
Sounds good. Okay. Until next time, guys, this was Stagged Odds by me and Ninja Penguin. Just ignore the 888. I don't think we have to remember those from your name.
No, we're good.
Yeah, that's what I thought. She can deal all the horror stuff. That's not for me, but you know, she's the horror expert here. Always will be. All right. Catch you guys in the next episode. Have a good one. Bye. Say bye.
Bye.
Okay, there we go. Now I can stop. Yay!